There's controversy now over coverage of the recent wave of terror attacks in Israel, especially in light of the reporting on yesterday's thwarted stabbing near the Damascus Gate in Jerusalem's Old City. As you can see in this photo, that suspect clearly had a knife in his hand, but here's how the NBC News reporter on the scene described the incident.
He seems to, at least now from where I'm standing, seems to have been killed. He's not moving as of yet. I know there are some paramedics down there. They are searching his body, looking at him. From where I'm standing, and we were only a couple feet away as he ran right by us towards the gate, we couldn't see very clearly whether he was holding anything or whether there was anything on him.
And this comes as some news headlines seem to cast Israel as the aggressor in these attacks. Joining us now, Rick Grinnell, former advisor to 4 U.S. ambassadors to the UN, and Judith Miller is a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter, author, and a Fox News contributor, as is Rick. Rick, let's start with you. You actually basically confronted that NBC reporter over his coverage of the incident.
Yeah, I happened to be watching MSNBC as Ayman Mohaldin was literally describing the scene as it unfolded. And from the very beginning, he failed to report on a few key facts. One, the individual broke out of a line where Palestinians were trying to get into a certain secure area. And he failed to tell us that. And two, he failed to describe that the individual had camouflaged uniform on, trying to pretend like he was an Israeli Defense Force soldier. Those are two key facts when you see someone running right in front of you. I also don't buy that Ayman did not see the knife in the guy's hands. Ayman had to be confronted by the anchor who had to correct him because he said, I saw two open hands with nothing in them. And the anchor on MSNBC had to say, actually, Ayman, we're running video showing that you're wrong. It was really an atrocious situation that Ayman Mohaldin completely was in the wrong and biased reporting.
But even after, even after his filing of that report, he reiterated his comments on Twitter. He wrote, I just witnessed the shooting of a man running down the stairs towards the Damascus Gate before being gunned down. No mention, once again, of the knife. Judy, how does a reporter get away with that kind of reporting?
Well, he gets away with it because so many people are doing very similar things, John. I agree with Rick totally. The coverage of the, quote, violence, as if it's equal on both sides, and what is being called the Intifadat al-Sakim, the uprising of the knife, and is being encouraged by Palestinian leaders. The coverage has been simply outrageous. I want to give you another case in point. There's a young man named Ahmed Asmansari, and he was reported as having been killed by Israel. Executed is the word that Abu Mazen used. The problem is this morning, Israeli newspapers, but not American newspapers, had pictures of him on the front page, smiling, being treated in an Israeli hospital for his wounds after he had stabbed a 13-year-old Israeli who is now in serious condition in another hospital.
Abu Mazen being Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian president.
Right.
Yeah, there's a headline in the LA Times, 6 Palestinian teens die amid Mideast unrest. Those Palestinian teens were all carrying knives, weren't they, Rick?
Yes.
Yeah, they're all carrying knives. This is the knife-ifada. What's happening inside Israel is that the Israelis and the Israeli forces and security forces and police are responding to Palestinians who are yielding knives, trying to kill them. The coverage here in the United States is atrocious. I want to go back to Ayman Mohaldin because he reports for NBC News. This is not the first time he's done it. It's not the second or the third or the fourth time that he's had biased coverage. This is like the 20th time. NBC News has an Ayman Mohaldin problem. They need to get serious about disciplining him, telling him how he is supposed to be reporting. He's not biased. They need to move him off the Middle East beat. This is a serious problem for NBC News, and everyone needs to take to Twitter and put pressure on NBC News to do something about their Ayman Mohaldin problem.
A couple of more, or a look again at those headlines that we brought you earlier in the broadcast. One of them from the Wall Street Journal, which surprised some people. Two teenagers killed, 2 injured by Israeli police. And then a headline from the Associated Press. Palestinians shot dead by Israeli police in 2 separate knife attacks. You might not necessarily connect the fact that the people with the knives were the 2 kids who were shot dead.
Right. Every society, even a society that's occupying another society, has a right to defend itself. Israelis do not want to walk down the street and face knife attacks. And that's what's going on. This is very different from what's happened before, because many of these attacks are lone wolf attacks. They are by young Palestinians in East Jerusalem. So they're not in Hamas-controlled Gaza. They're not in the West Bank, though some of them come from both places. These are young people incited by cartoons, by social media, yes, and by Palestinian leaders to go out and kill an Israeli. That's unacceptable.
Well, viewers should pay attention to this segment when they read some of the headlines that are still to come, because apparently the media will continue to try and get it wrong. Judy Miller, Rick Grinnell, thank you both.
Thank you.